I'll now turn the conference over to Sammy Callahan. Please go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us this morning for the Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles conference call. Today we have Summer Glau, who plays Cameron on the show. I just want to make a quick reminder that Monday at 9 o'clock, we will have a new episode. Heavy Metal will be premiering at 9 o'clock on Fox. I'd like to introduce everyone to Summer Glau, and we'll get this call started.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you wish to ask a question, please press star and 1 on your touch-tone phone. We'll go to the line of Daniel Feinberg with StepToIt.com. Please go ahead.
Hey, Summer. Thanks for doing the call.
Hey, thanks for having me.
One of the things that's interesting about Cameron is that not only does she have the action scenes, but the comedy is very central to the character. Could you talk about sort of that deadpan attitude that you have to play there?
Well, it's Josh Friedman. It was his idea, and it was a fine balance from the pilot to the series, deciding exactly how Cameron was going to relate to the people around her, and I think that we all felt that it was a great comic opportunity. It's been really fun for me.
And what are the logistics of sort of playing that deadpan? How flat do you have to play it, or is there an inflection that we maybe, aren't picking up necessarily?
Well, I always tell Josh it's just me trying to be as honest as possible as Cameron. I never want to ask the audience to laugh at me, because then it doesn't feel real. And so I just approach everything and try to be really sincere, as Cameron would be. I think that is what is so funny about her. It's just that she can't be anything but genuine. She's very open, like a child. She absorbs the behavior around her and tries to understand it as best she can, and sometimes that ends up being extremely funny.
Thanks a lot.
And we'll go to Joel Brown with MeVeep.com. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. I don't normally ask questions about this stuff, but nearly everyone who talks to me about the show has mentioned it, and I just wondered if you reacted. The single most discussed promotional piece, I think, for any show this year was that poster. What does it feel like to look at and see that strange picture of your sort of, basically your disembodied head with some wires coming out of the bottom of it? How did you react the first time you saw that? And in general, is it just kind of weird playing them in some respects a machine?
Yes, I remember when we were on set, and James Middleton, who's one of our producers, was describing this concept for me about this awesome poster, and I was going to be naked, and I wasn't going to have any legs, and my guts were going to be hanging out, and I was trying to act excited, but I was terrified. I thought, oh my gosh, this sounds so scary, and I'm going to be up on a billboard looking like that. And then, I said, oh, come on, let's just do the picture, just a normal picture, maybe Lena holding a gun, and that sounds good. And then I saw the poster, and I thought, wow, I understand the concept now. And I thought, it's really different. I think it's going to make people wonder. It's interesting, and I think it says a lot about the show. But I remember they were talking about how they were going to start the campaign in L.A. in December, but I went home for Christmas and for New Year's, and when I got home, it's when all the posters were up. And I can't even describe how it feels. It doesn't feel like me. When I look at it, I just think about the team of people that put it together. It doesn't even really register that it's me. So it kind of represents all of us to me.
Where is home that you went to?
Texas. I'm from San Antonio.
All right, thanks very much.
Thanks.
And we'll go to Jennifer Godwin with E! Please go ahead.
Hi, Summer. You're awesome, both on this show and on your old show. Can you tell us if there's ever going to be sort of a exploration of Cameron's point of view? Right now, it's the Sarah Connor Chronicles, and we're trying to find Starnet. But Cameron obviously would have a very unique point of view of all of this. And is that something the show will explore, do you think? Well, I think that it is sort of. I think that we do work as a dysfunctional family right now, and I think it is sort of. It's a mystery at this point. Cameron's intentions are what she presents them to be. I don't even really know exactly what's going on with Cameron. I do know that maybe she has a mysterious past, and it's unclear what she ends up being in the future. But at this point, I think that all three of us, as far as what I know from the script, we are all fighting for the same goal. But that might turn out to be sort of a front. Cameron might have come back to the past for a different purpose.
Very, very interesting. Keep up the great work. You're doing awesome.
Thank you.
We'll go to Jordana Kammerman with TV Guide Canada. Please go ahead.
Hi.
Thank you, Dana.
Hey, I'd like to know what it's been like for you as a female to play a role that until now is so hyper-masculine and sort of reserved for people who look like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It's been a surprise every day. I almost didn't go in on the audition because I had such an idea in my mind of what the Terminator should be, and I did not fit that mold in any way. I'm short, and I just didn't think that didn't have that Terminator look. But I think that it is interesting because Arnold Schwarzenegger is such an icon. He's such an action hero that Josh Friedman decided to take the Terminator on a completely different path. We're not trying to recreate Arnold Schwarzenegger. We're doing a completely different Terminator, and that makes me feel safe because I don't have to try to follow in his footsteps. I'm doing something different. And it's been great, as a girl playing a role like this. I always look for roles that make me feel good about being a woman. And that's not always easy. But I think on our show in particular, we're so empowered and we have a place of importance in the script and it's really gratifying as an actress.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thanks.
We'll go to Christina Radish with Media Boulevard Magazine. Please go ahead.
Hi, Summer. When I spoke to you last, after you shot the pilot for this, you spoke about how you always had to keep in mind that you were playing a character that isn't human. As you spend more time in the role and got to know Cameron better, did that get any easier, or is it something you were always conscious of throughout?
I think that as you do a series, you do sort of become your character in a way, and it does get much more comfortable when you read a script, when you read a scene. You kind of have an idea of how you want to do it. Whereas when you first begin a role, you're really exploring it and you're making big decisions about how you want to play her. But at this point, I think all of us in the cast have really gotten comfortable with how our characters would react in a certain situation. But, I would say that the hardest part is still looking at my scene partner who might be, spilling their guts to me or crying or yelling, and I can't give anything back. I'm always giving something. I'm always giving energy back to my scene partner, but I can't respond in the way that I would if I was playing a human. And that never quite feels natural to me. So.
And our next question will come from Brad Trachik with TVSquad.com.
Summer, hi. The other role you're, of course, best known for is River Tam in Firefly and Serenity. So a friend dared me to ask this, so I'm going to go ahead. If River Tam fought Cameron, who would win?
Well, I played River for a little bit longer. I think I know more of her moves at this point, but, River was all about finesse and, creativity and using her form as best she could because she wasn't the strongest person in the room, and she wasn't the biggest girl in the room. And now, playing Cameron, I don't really break a sweat because she just gets to pick things up and throw them and dash through walls, and I don't know, I think it'd be an ugly fight.
Okay, well, in the end, I think the winner will be Summer Glau anyway. That is all. Thank you.
We'll go to Raul Mawad with MSN. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Summer. Dovetailing off of that, I was hoping you could talk about some of the differences between playing River and playing Cameron, first of all.
Well, it's funny because I actually see some similarities between them. They're both they're both kind of foreigners in their surroundings. River was never good at being able to relate to the people around her, and she always seemed to be somewhere else in her mind. And Cameron is the same way. You know, she's from a different place. She's from a different time. She's not human. She doesn't really know how to relate to the people that she's living her life with now. And so in that way they're similar, but River was so emotional and so vulnerable, and Cameron can't really do those things. And that was the biggest challenge for me when I first was cast in the role, was trying to decide how I could make her relatable and how I could relate to her as an actress. So it's been an interesting balance, and I'm still finding out who she is, and I think that she's constantly growing. She's constantly changing from scene to scene and absorbing human characteristics, so I think that she will continue to become more relatable as time goes on.
What do you think the prospects are for a Cameron-John romance?
No, the writers are keeping you guessing. At this point, I can't tell. I know that it's a possibility, and I think that in her own way, Cameron does love John, because when I think about it, her entire existence is to protect him. Her purpose in life is to keep him safe and to be with him always, and I think that she does love him as best a robot could. But, you know, at this point, their relationship is very complicated. John is still trying to figure out how he wants to treat her and what his relationship with her should be. It's really complicated, but I think that anything is possible at this point.
Now, the name of your character, I assume, is an homage to James Cameron.
Yes.
And I was wondering if you had heard anything from him, or if anybody from the show has interacted much with him in terms of what's going to be going forward on the show.
Not that I know of. I don't know if I would be very interested and nervous to see what he had to say about the show, but I haven't heard anything. I'm not sure if you've seen it.
Okay. And then also, who would win, your Terminator or the TX from Terminator 3?
I don't know. Have you seen her? She's really tall in real life. She's very imposing, but we haven't actually gone at it yet. Maybe she'll come be on the show. Maybe she'll help me out.
And I don't want to monopolize things too much longer, but can you give us any hints or spoilers as to what we might see in upcoming episodes?
Well, I think people are going to be surprised at the direction of the show is going in. We have a lot of really strong subplots and a lot of great guest stars coming in constantly. I'm always amazed at what our writers come up with. You know, I think people have a feeling of what they think the show is going to be, but there's going to be a lot of interesting twists, because when you take a concept from film and you put it into a television show, you can really take time to develop the story. So there are things that I think people hadn't thought of.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
We'll go to Amory Cunningham with Seat for Two. Please go ahead.
Hi, Summer. How are you?
Hi, well, how are you?
Good. My question, I guess, what are some of your favorite things about Cameron, and what are some things that you feel Cameron couldn't hurt to learn or to have part of her characteristic?
Well, I would say my favorite things about Cameron are, well, I love the fact that I get to be very physical, and that they've chosen for a girl to be John's bodyguard. I think that that's really exciting for girls, and a great role for an actress. And you know, as far as her personality, if you could call it her personality, I love how open she is and how curious she is, and that gives me a lot of opportunity as an actress to try different things and for her to grow and change. But, one of the interesting things that I've been thinking about, especially with my scene with Selena, is does the Terminator understand what death is, and do they understand the value of life? I think that that's something that Sarah has a really hard time with, because she needs Cameron, and she keeps Cameron around because she understands how valuable Cameron can be to keep John safe. But I think that it constantly breaks her heart to watch Cameron and her coldness. Mm-hmm. And that's something that Cameron is very curious about, I think. I love that part of their relationship.
Great. Just one more quick thing. What are some of the other shows that you're watching on TV when you get time?
Well, my favorite show is Brothers and Sisters. I'm so addicted to that show, and I watch the other shows I watch anything that Anthony Bourdain does. I love all of his shows, and cooking, the Food Network. I'll watch anybody cook.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we'll go to Michael Hinman with Sci-Fi Portal. Please go ahead.
Hi, Summer. And by the way, can you cook as well?
Well, I'm constantly trying. Have deep respect, but I'm working on it. I guess I have my whole life to try.
Yeah, well, it's just easier to watch it than to do it. But, I just have to say I've really enjoyed you in both Firefly and as well in this new Terminator series, which has, been getting, strong praise from everybody I know who's seen more episodes than me. I'm just curious, you came in with a character that, unlike everybody else, is not kind of a recast of characters that we're familiar with other actors. Does that make it easier, or does that make it harder? Because, how does that actually work as an actor when you don't really have to, have the same type of challenges some of the other actors do in terms of trying to create a character as your own?
Well, I think that Lena and Thomas have done an amazing job. They're both very brave actors and very independent and strong. And so I completely trust their version of their characters. But for me, it was easier, I have to say. People still ask me, about Arnold Schwarzenegger and how does that feel to be the new Terminator, and I can laugh about it because there's no one could possibly compare me to him. He is an icon, and I'm doing something really different. So it is a relief for me. But I will say that, I'm only one person who is working on this character. It's an entire team that helps me shape Cameron. Josh Friedman created her, and then the writers develop her, from episode to episode, and even Joel Kramer, our son